Are you okay? Hi there! It's been a minute since I posted last. Well, more than a minute, but happy 2026! I'm so happy to be back, and I have a ton of super fun ideas for this year. While the new year will bring some fun projects to my channel, 2026 is also going to be the year of a new Danganronpa game! Well, new is sort of a technicality. If you aren't a Danganronpa fan, or a fan of Nintendo in general, on September 12th, 2025, the company announced during a direct that they would be releasing a remake of Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair, as well as an entirely new timeline dubbed Danganronpa 2x2. The Danganronpa games each focus on a group of students participating in the killing games, which means that they are trapped in some location and their only possible way of escaping is through killing each other and then figuring out who the murderer is and how they did it. It's like a big murder mystery game, but a lot more chaotic. This new version promises to have different killers, trials, and overall scenarios, which is huge. This means that we will be getting all new executions, survivors, and hopefully a lot more character depth. While we haven't gotten too much information, there have been tons of theories about the game since it was announced. My favorite game is the second one, and I'm kinda greedy, so I am super ecstatic for this release. The first version of the game came out in 2012, and the improvements in the first trailer already look amazing. Like, oh my god, look at it! But this video is not necessarily about the new iteration of the game. I thought it would be a great time to make a video about an idea I've had for a while, and that is drawing some Danganronpa characters in my style. I guess you could also call this a redesign, but honestly, there are a lot of characters that I really enjoy the designs of already. All the characters have big personality and specific talents, and I feel like a decent amount of their designs get across both points very well. A character from the first game that I feel has a good design is Mondo Owada, the ultimate biker gang leader. He's rebellious, loudmouthed, and tough. Sure, his hair is goofy, but it's just an extreme pompadour, which is heavily associated with biker gangs or rebellious characters in Japan. But obviously, Danganronpa has its flaws too. Let's address the elephant in the room when it comes to their girl characters. Some, not all, of the designs for the girls are very fan-servicey. Tight shirts, short skirts, and thigh-high socks are not uncommon. For some of the characters, I suppose it makes sense, despite them being in high school, but for others, it's really blatant that they're just trying to appeal to a certain audience. For example, why is Akane's shirt just barely buttoned? She's a gymnast, and this design doesn't really show it. That's why I want to make sure each of my designs still represents each character's ultimate talent. If you don't know anything about Danganronpa, you might be wondering what an ultimate talent is. In the Danganronpa universe, high school students can attend the very exclusive and famous school, Hope's Peak Academy. The reason it is so exclusive is because the students that attend the school must be the best at whatever they do. In the original games, these students were called super high school level students, but when the games were translated to English, they just called them ultimates. This is the term that I use simply because it's shorter and also sounds cooler, in my opinion. Ultimates are usually super intense about their titles. It's a major part of their character. I think it is also a fun gimmick because it makes the cast so lively and unique. While this is true for all of the games, you already know that my favorite group is the one from the second game, Goodbye Despair. They're a little crazier than the first game, but still very enjoyable. This gimmick, in my opinion, is super creative and fun, and I want to honor that in my designs. And with that, let's get on to our first character.
My name is Hajime Hinata. There's only one reason I came to Hope's Peak Academy. Because I admired Hope's Peak Academy.
Hajime Hinata is the protagonist of the second game and the player character. Hajime is the only character in the entire game who does not know what his ultimate talent is. Which is nothing! This guy doesn't have an ultimate talent. Plus, he's basically the straight man of the group. A lot of people say he's a boring protagonist, but I honestly find him very enjoyable. He's like the one single normal person at the function. Hajime is one of the designs in this game that I feel really doesn't need any improvement. His character design is plain and a little boring compared to the entirety of the cast, which really works in his favor. He's not an ultimate, he doesn't have a special talent, and although I really like his personality, it's definitely not as extreme compared to characters like Ibuki or Gundham or even Fuyuhiko. He's the white bread of the Danganronpa games, which makes him super funny in my opinion. When I played the game, I really enjoyed his dialogue options. Many of them felt like how I would respond if I was in his situation. Drawing Hajime, improving his overall color palette was something I focused on. A lot of the characters in this series feel very gray-washed, which I don't feel like is a horrible cross-game theme, but it did feel a little dated to me, especially since Goodbye Despair takes place on a tropical island resort. Like, come on, let's have fun, let's get whimsical and colorful. I didn't go too ham on Hajime since I still wanted him to look a little plain, but I did darken his skin color and make his hair more vibrant. I also added some cute little details like making his shoes dirty, giving him a piercing, adding some little freckles. I also changed his haircut a little. He still has a stupid ahoge, but it looks a little less crazy. I'm sorry, I'm a Hajime fan, but I just wanted his haircut gone. Another thing I tried to incorporate into my designs were different body types amongst the cast. For Hajime, I made his shoulders a little broader and his arms and legs a little thicker. I think this is still a pretty average build, especially for a high schooler, but I think this small detail gives him more character. Overall, I'm very happy with my Hajime. I like him, I think he's a cutie pie. I really can't get over the freckles I added.
Allow me to cut through those words!
I'm Nagito Komaeda. Nice to meet you.
Disclaimer before I say anything else. Nagito Komaeda is my favorite Danganronpa character. Okay, I know. I won't deny that he is annoying. I know he is, and I know that he's basically a joke in himself, and I know that he is the fingers in his ass guy. But I like him, and I think his backstory is sad, and I think he has a lot of character depth, and I think he's cute. For those who might only know him as the fingers in his ass guy, Nagito Komaeda is the ultimate lucky student. At Hope's Peak Academy, every year there's a lottery. The name drawn from the lottery is then that year's ultimate lucky student and gets to attend the school. In the previous game, that slot was filled by Makoto Naegi, and in this game, it's Nagito Komaeda. Though his name was picked from the lottery, there are many instances in his backstory where his luck has changed his life. Nagito's experience with luck is referenced to in-game as the luck cycle. It's explained that when something of great luck happens to him, something terrible is soon to follow, and vice versa. For example, as an elementary school child, Nagito and his very wealthy parents boarded a plane that got hijacked. Bad luck. Then, a meteor struck the plane, hitting the hijackers. Good luck. The meteor also hit his parents. Bad luck. But Nagito survived the crash and inherited his parents' wealth. Good luck, due to the fact that Nagito apparently had a strained relationship with his parents. In the game, you cannot know about his backstory unless you gain enough friendship points with him. And even then, if you don't talk to Nagito within the first day, you cannot become friends with him. I think this mechanic is interesting and highlights the closed-off nature of his character. While I really love his backstory and everything about the luck cycle, I can admit that Nagito Komaeda can be very annoying. Nagito has very little self-confidence. The way he speaks is very 2010s depressed middle schooler, which is exactly why he appealed to this kind of fan back when the game was released. He talks down about himself whenever he speaks, calls himself trash, and gets very weird about the other ultimates. You see, Nagito didn't see himself as an actual ultimate since he won that lottery. What he does see himself as, though, is a vessel to prop up all of the other ultimates. Nagito has a very black and white vision of hope and despair, most likely due to the circumstances he experienced within his life. His only purpose in life is to seek out hope and be a hand to help destroy despair. I don't even know how to go into the extent of this part of his character, so I think all I'm going to say about this is that while Nagito's dialogue about hope can get annoying, I think this part of his character is both interesting and sad. But that's my opinion. Genuinely, I could make an entire video about him, and honestly, maybe I will when the new game comes out. Anyways, on to his design. Personally, I really like his design, and I also feel that I couldn't change him too much. Nagito Komaeda's appearance is just so iconic that I knew I just wouldn't be able to create anything as good. Instead, I focused on smaller details to emphasize his character, specifically with his clothes. I gave him pieces that were either too big for him or were torn and ripped. I feel like this helped emphasize his character and his luck cycle and how clumsy he is. I also tried to keep him looking grungy, giving him fingerless gloves, earrings, painted nails, and more. I also focused on some aspects of his body, like keeping him very slim and tall and giving him eye bags. One detail I do wish I added more of were 4-leaf clovers, but I just wasn't sure where to put them. I also made this art in September, and as of recording this, it's January, so you live and you learn. I'm pretty satisfied with my final design for Nagito. While I definitely could have diverged from his canon design a bit more, I just didn't feel like it would be right for some reason. He's just too iconic, but I do think the extra details I added are cute and also made sense for his character.
Hey, are you okay? You seem pretty out of it.
Nice to meet you.
Chiaki Nanami is the ultimate gamer, as well as the token vague love interest. She serves the same role as Kyoko in the first game, which is just a girl that is close with the player character and also gives you hints during the trials. As obviously not all that either of these girls are though, I think Chiaki is a very likable character, but I do have a couple issues with her design. I just feel like she was designed for a very specific fan of the games, if that makes sense. I talked about the designs for some of the girls in this game earlier in the video, and she definitely fits into the group I was referencing. While the characters are supposed to be students of Hope's Peak Academy, I just feel like they really went too schoolgirl with Chiaki. The tight shirt that accentuates her chest and the short skirts paired with the long socks is just not doing it for me. Also, this girl is narcoleptic and only cares about video games, so I highly doubt she would dress like this if she were a real person. For my version of Chiaki, I took these characteristics about her into account. She needs to be dressed in clothes that she could both game and nap in comfortably. Sweats, a comfy t-shirt, and a fuzzy jacket just felt right for me. Chiaki also suffers from that gray washing I was talking about with Hajime. I brightened up her color palette with baby pinks and vibrant darker turquoise. I do like the colors I chose, but in her original design, Chiaki's palette leans more turquoise than pink, which I swapped. I'm still on the fence if this was a good decision or not, honestly. I do think the turquoise connected her more to Hajime and Nagito's palettes since they had more green, and they're the main trio of Goodbye Despair. But I do really love the pinks that I incorporated. If I were to redo her design, I think that this is something I would play around with a little more. In her original design, Chiaki also had some cat symbolism on her clothing, like her little cat ear hoodie. For my design, I wanted to add more bunny symbols to tie her back to Usami, since there is a plot point in the later half of the game where this would make a lot of sense. For this, I gave her little bunny ear headphones and also put bunny ears on her backpack. I also made Chiaki's body type a bit bigger from her original design to get more diversity amongst the cast. Overall, I like how my Chiaki design came out. I still am on the fence about how much pink I included, but other than that, I feel like the detail I added is cute and fits her character.
Hey! My name is Sonia Nevermind.
Sonia Nevermind is yet another character that I really like. She's the ultimate princess and is heir to the throne of Nova Selic, a made-up European country. On the surface, she seems like a well-spoken posh royal, but once you play the game and talk to her more, you find out Sonia is just as interesting as the rest of the class. Now, fans of Nirvana may recognize that her last name is the same as their famous album, Nevermind. This is an intentional reference. Sonia is also from that fictional country, Nova Selic, which is a reference to the band's bassist, and her former high school was named Utero High, a reference to their album In Utero. Kodaka, the creator of the games, is a Nirvana fan, so these nods to the bands were both sweet and pretty cool. As for her interests, Sonia is enamored by Japanese culture and is interested in true crime and the occult. Her knowledge about these topics is integral to certain trials, especially Trial 2. Speaking of trials, I think that besides Chiaki, she is the most helpful character throughout. One of my favorite things about her is how often she and Hajime bounce off each other in certain trials. One aspect about the game that I feel like I haven't talked about much yet are the interpersonal relationships between the characters. Of course, every character is going to have some relationship with Hajime due to the fact that he's the protagonist, but we also get to explore non-player characters interacting with each other as well. One of those relationships that I love is Sonia and Gundham. Because of her interests, she has a lot of respect for Gundham, and vice versa. Both are sort of outcasts amongst their class. Sonia is from a different country with different cultures, while Gundham has a very unique worldview and sense of self. Though visual opposites, the two just seem to click later on in the game. While they don't have too much time together in canon, I still think their dynamic is cute, and I really hope it's explored more in 2x2. With her design, I could have gone a completely different route and decided to make her interests in true crime and the occult much more apparent, but the fun part about her character is that looking at her, you would never expect her to have those kinds of interests. So, on that note, I wanted to keep her looking decently formal. I thought it would be a fun touch to make her top look more similar to a general or a guard's top rather than a princess's. On top of her interests, Sonia also often mentions the weapons and military within her country, so she's definitely not as prim and proper as other princesses. I also decided to make her color palette lean more towards lighter blues and turquoise rather than darker greens. I really like this touch as I think it made her much more vibrant. I also added some pinks and golds as accent colors to complement her outfit. I do feel like I changed a fair bit about Sonia's design, but I think it still fits the overall vibe of the character. She still looks like a sweet princess to me.
That sounds correct.
You may call me Gundham Tanaka. Remember it well, for it is the name that will one day rule this world.
Although I stated that Nagito is my favorite character, I believe that Gundham Tanaka is genuinely the best character in this entire series. Maybe that's controversial, I don't know. Gundham Tanaka is the ultimate animal breeder. He believes he's the Dark Lord, and he carries around 4 hamsters that he loves very much, called the 4 Dark Devas of Destruction. If that doesn't sell you on him, I really don't know what will. There are a few characters within the series that the Ultimates themselves find weird or too much. Nagito falls into this category, but so does Gundham. He has an odd way of speaking compared to the other Ultimates.
Tremble with fear, fools! Behold my power! The sword of destruction, encased in bone and sheathed in meat, it brought catastrophe unto Byakuya! Infinity unlimited flame!
He was created to be a more intense version of the Chunibyo trope, which is a fairly popular trope in anime. Characters that fall into this trope are written to be fairly delusional, believing that they are a being of great power in a mystical and fantastical world. Gundham himself believes that he is the Dark Prince of Destruction from the underworld. This is why fellow classmates find him off-putting. There's this moment in Goodbye Despair that I think of a lot when Hajime and Kazuichi are talking about going to the diner to hang out together, and it's pretty obvious that Gundham wants to join but doesn't know how to ask. Hajime can't sense this, while Kazuichi blatantly wants to exclude him. It makes me sad. While he paints himself as a dangerous, hardcore Dark Lord of Destruction, Gundham is a very genuine and sweet character. His interactions with his hamsters support this, as well as the friendship/relationship he has with Sonia. I mentioned them previously, and they're always very cute because Sonia is super into Gundam's whole deal, and he gets flustered fairly often around her. For my take on Gundam, I took a lot of inspiration from this one visual kai metal band called Julika. Being a visual kai band, they put a lot of focus into their costuming and makeup. Their outfits usually have a ton of leather, metal chains, and lots of layers. I really love Gundam's gothic outfit, but wanted to push that even further, giving him a whole leather outfit with big platform boots, piercings, and some more jewelry. I also made sure to change his hair. Gundam's hair is literally his one and only flaw in my opinion. While playing the game, you definitely just get used to it, but it just looks goofy. He looks like an ice cream cone. I took a little inspiration from his look from the anime, but mainly just went my own route. I really do like his new style I came up with for it. I might have a recency bias, but I think this one is my favorite design. I think Gundam's design was the one that changed the most, but I am super happy with how it came out.
Ha! Impossible!
Whether you are into Danganronpa or not, I think you have to admit that the games have some pretty good character designs for the most part. They get the ultimate gimmick across very successfully, and they are easily recognizable. However, I do think some of these designs can be tweaked, and things such as different body types can make the cast even more unique. I would love to know which one of the designs from this video are your favorite, and if you're excited for Danganronpa 2x2. I have a couple ideas for some of the rest of the cast from Goodbye Despair, so if there's any interest, I can make a part 2 in the future. I am so happy to be back to making videos after being super busy with other things, and I have a ton of ideas for videos this year. Thanks so much for sticking around, it means the world to me, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!